All right, so we're finally finished. Everything's been running now for about a month at least, and I want to give you some feedback on how everything's been doing, what I like, what I didn't expect, things like that.
This video is brought to you in part by ACIQ and TrueTech Tools. Next project, let's get this furnace ripped out of here. So I installed this Linux furnace when I first built the house. We're going to pump down the heat pump first, disconnect the gas, start yanking things out. Before we do that, I'm gonna go ahead and convert this furnace over to LP gas. This was a 2-stage gas furnace with variable speeds. It's been a good furnace. I haven't had really no major problems. I know the draft motor is getting ready to go out, but it's an 03, so we're looking at almost 23 years old. We're gonna be switching over here to the ACIQ, which is a ICP, which is basically a carrier, and it is also a 2-stage gas furnace. Same conversion kit you have with any carrier. The ICP carrier brand is one of the few that'll have a LP switch on it so that if the pressure from the gas gets too low, it shuts down the unit and you'll wire that into your pressure switches. Orifice on this one, we need a 1.25 millimeter. And they do want those screws on every one of them. Got a dimple right here. They want that in there just as straight as possible, they say. And it'll go through there. It was a trick we used to do back in the day on all of them. Sometimes they wouldn't light off very smooth, and that would cause it to disrupt the mixture of air and fuel and would make it fire off a little smoother. Here we go. All your fan speeds are done through near field communications on your phone, Bluetooth app. Real nice and simple on that. So you've got a white spring gonna go on in there like that. The other white spring goes in like that. Now the reason why I'm doing this all first, because I have to shut the gas off to the furnace and the furnace will be down. We probably won't get the heat pump done today. We'll set those with the manometer when we are ready. Got LP here, and we have the LP sticker up here on top. There we go, relocate that to there. These will end up hooking onto here. We went ahead and rotated that. We'll be bringing this straight across, coming through out of here. Air intake here, we don't do it over the gas valves. This can go horizontal or vertical, not upside down. This should be fine there, and then we can test gas pressure right here. That should get us right in there. We got everything wired up. We got it wire tight here. We're good to go. Got the safety device in. Right here is the combustible gas leak detector. All nice, waterproof plug like you'd see on automotive. Comes to a nice plug. You don't even have to figure out the wiring, just plug it into the control module. Look at these rubber grommets around here. This is pretty amazingly different than what you see out of some of the American-made stuff. This right here is the evaporator sensor. Got an evaporator sensor right there. It's got a little pocket for it. All this plugs into the control module. I like how nice and heavy that pan is. Now, one of the other things I did on my last furnace here, added a piece of insulation to the floor of it. That'll help seal it, and it'll also help absorb any noise. I don't necessarily glue it down because there won't be a whole lot pulling through it. I made it to pretty much the exact width of the whole unit, and that'll hold it in there nice. I could go ahead and stick some spray in there. That'll make it a little quieter. Okay, we've got my nice Malcos here. Once again, TrueTech Tools. They're pretty wide. Bend this up. There you go. Now you got your edge to put your S-lock onto. Something's bothering me right now. When I built the house, I was doing all the electrical by myself after work in the evenings, sometimes till 11, 12 o'clock at night, and then going home and going to work the next day. So my dad actually helped me put the ductwork together, and he's still here, and he was in the video earlier, but I feel bad taking it out because he's not here to help put the other one in, and about tempted to have him come over and hang out with it. We never know how much time we got, and sometimes you just got to make sure you spend as much time with the people you care about. So that might be what we have to do. Worst case scenario, he can always help me with the heat pump part because I gotta keep the heat on otherwise. Now, normally I would strap this up, but this has got drive cleats holding this duct up here, so it's not coming down. Unfortunately, it's a little dark, and the heat pump we're taking out is a Ducting. We're just going to pump this thing down. It's time to put her to sleep. It's R22. We got to energize O in. One last run, bro. It's so cold out here that it's not even affecting it. It's pumping it down, no problem. So, and the other reason why I didn't want to go pure electric is because I have all these power stations that I've done reviews on, and this is what's keeping track of my energy usage right now. There's the heat pump, furnace right here. There we go. Here's what you guys don't notice about these pliers, is how strong the down pressure is on them. The down pressure on these is ridiculous. Do a couple different bites, perfect. Some of this, like the thermostat wire from up above, I'm not running new wire on that because it's through wall joists. I always like to have a switch at my furnace. She's pretty much isolated. Why I like coils that are exposed like that. It's getting kind of late, so what we're going to do is just get the exhaust hooked up. Tomorrow I need to pick up some normal 45s, not street, and so I can get this over so I can have room here for my air intake. We're setting our high gas pressure. I had to adjust my input regulator up to about 12.5 inches water column so I could hit the 11 inches they want. I'm going to try it on low here, so we're going to pull off the high because we're running it high right now. That should drop us down to 5.8. Let's go back to high fire, right in there at 11, 10.9. I'm good enough with that because we were already top end. I had temporarily got this going last night, so we're going to be changing this pipes around a little bit, doing a little nicer 45s and bringing us in a little straighter. I just have this all temporarily hooked up just to get me by through the night. We checked the temperature rise last night. Go ahead and check it again here. Got a return and our supply, most likely on the higher end. So we're at 56. We may adjust the fan a little bit, which is really nice. This is all done near field communications. You turn the unit off and you can adjust it in the app and you don't even have to do anything. It's so simple. Diagnostics are the same way. Carrier app's what you're using. It just makes it so simple. On high, it does 40 to 70. So we're right in there at 60. We're 10 degrees below. Kind of sets it up for a dirty filter in the future and possibly that coil. The electric strip heat is not hooked up. Okay, we finally got the exhaust and air intake taken care of. This was kind of a tight deal here, but we was able to straighten it up and keep all my pipes in a row, and actually made it look better than what it did originally. Left this one loose so that I can take that apart if I need to, and then you can take it apart here. This one, you'll be able to pull it out. If I need to, I'll put a fern coat. This technically goes to this right here, but I don't want it cut if I don't need to, because it's just one more place it's going to drip, and I've seen it drip a million times down into the metal and rot it all out because it's acidic. Okay, we got our transitions all pounded over. Got our screws only on the other side. As you seen earlier, we did a 90 on this so it had something to attach to. Then we'll put a little bit of silver silicone in the corners. All that's pretty much done. So right now it's running an auto 2-stage, basically where the algorithm does its own step up, so you don't even need a 2-stage thermostat. Something Carrier has been doing forever, and it works pretty well. My thermostat has 2 stages, technically 4 stages with dual fuel, and so I'm letting the computer inside of the furnace decide when it needs to step up. Pretty straight. I mean, you can see we're right on the edge there. Not bad for an amateur. Looks like I might have got this fairly straight too. Yeah, I make anything look believable on YouTube, bro. Not bad for an amateur. I don't do this every day. All right, so we got a brand new 30-foot line set here. It's 3/4, 3/8, and we're gonna take this out. I got me some nice clamps. We're getting rid of that strap. Back in the day, that's all we used to use. It has a really thick insulation on it. There are no flare ends on either side. I did get this also from ACIQ. Turn on our floodlight of our O-light here. This makes it really easy. We're gonna go ahead and put a bead of silicone around our corners there. That way we don't have a lot of mess on the outside, but yet we've got it nice and sealed. I don't like the looks of that. To me, that looks sloppy. I hate that. I hate silver tape. I think it all looks like trash. Yeah, I gotta scrape that up and put a little bit of primer on that, because it's the only place it's doing it where it touched the concrete at one time, and not all of it did it. If you're asking questions, that's why. Everything seems pretty well set up the way it should be. Now when I braze that, I'll make sure I put a wet rag here, capture the heat before it hits the bulb. Otherwise, just take the bulb off, braze it in, make sure you flow nitrogen. I mean, it's just common sense. You can see that one's wide open. I mean, look how straight everything is. Now, time will tell. I mean, I ain't gonna say they're perfect, but it sure looks like a pretty good job on the coil from what I can see. There's that leak detector right there. They got a place for it with rubber grommet. The detector's already mounted up. Don't have to do squat like the Ream. You have to sit there and wire it all up. They've got a spot right here on the top of the furnace, which I'm able to slide right in past that. Everything fits like a glove. Look how nice that foam is. You don't see this on the American-made ones, which half the time aren't even made here. Line set, I mean, I could have flushed it, so I wanted to kind of do everything brand new. Remove the electrical covers. It doesn't say lift up, pull down, or anything else, but as you can see right here, this isn't wanting to come off. Not coming off. All the screws are out that I can see. There ain't none underneath here, ain't none underneath here. That piece is completely loose. What gives? That foam must be stuck on there or something. I mean, it is bending the metal as I try to pry out on it. Well, there you go. They got foam on there that obviously if you're ever in the middle of winter and you need to open this up, you better have to get your torch out and have to heat it up first so you can get it off. It says 4 inches or more off the back, 14 or more on the left side, 4 or more on the left side. I don't know if I like it that much, but honestly, there's nothing I have to get into that I see. I mean, if I can move it back some, I guess I will.
Got a wrench to take that off the pallet.
That should probably be all right. I'm just kind of eyeballing here is all I'm doing. As long as I can get a screwdriver behind it, that's the big thing. So hold on to that. So we'll put a little bit on this. Go ahead and stick this out. So you're gonna go, yep. Nope, that's fine. There we go. It's not as curvature as it was before, but it will be right in line with it and go on out, and we'll bend that down away from it. Oh, the joys of getting home late. So it's dark. Look how quick that was, just running that line set. See if I can get this bent the way I want it. I kind of put all them screw things on it.
Money.
Yep. Yeah, motorized one everybody uses now. Yeah, these pull triggers just so difficult. Yeah. Well, hopefully that works. Not bad for a service guy, huh? It's common sense, man. It's all common sense. Nothing more than a fancy bicycle installation guy. Most of the tools you see here you can get at TruTech Tools. Save yourself 6%. Discount code SURVIVAL at checkout off your total order. Help support them since they help support me. There you go.
There we go. Okay.
Here, hold on a second. Just wait a minute.
Okay.
Okay, come down a little bit. Slow, stop right there for a second.
You want to go your way?
Yeah.
There we go. Boy, I don't know that.
I think I can bend this thing a little bit and make it fit, so.
Freaking perfect. Yeah.
Well, I am pretty good.
Love you.
Yep, love you. The Hillmore here that I've got, guess what? It don't open wide enough. It only goes up to maybe 1 inch total. It don't fit that nut. So that is really great to know. So if you've got the Hillmore like I've got, it's basically worthless. What I'm gonna have to do tonight is at least just get it hooked to it. That way I'm safe as far as being insured because it's connected to the house. Okay, so I got looking online at TruTech Tools, and it appears it's not an uncommon thing. Whenever you get above 5/8 or at 5/8 or bigger, that's when you run into issue. Okay, that's a really nice flare. So, looking good. Let's put a little lubrication on the back side of that thing and snug it up and get the heck out of here. We'll finish up tomorrow. That'll keep the rain, moisture, all that out of it. We can finish up the other stuff. I'm not going to braze anything in on the inside yet. There you go, good enough. You can also use a stepping bit. It's another wonderful day here in the neighborhood. And we got everything hooked up temporarily overnight. We got the flare fittings on there, but they're not torqued yet. Having a problem sourcing the 17/16 nut here, which that's what it says, but that's not really what it is. Comes in truly at about almost 31.6, so say 32 millimeter on that nut. We did not have any at the shop. We've got everything lined up. Everything's looking good there. I'm either gonna mount it to the wall, ain't sure yet. This is not done yet. We also got the disconnect box and the surge protector there completely taken care of. Everything is hooked up and good and ready to go. The surge suppressor there says that it has a 10-year warranty on it. It is assembled or made in the United States. We're gonna get the inside line set adjusted and set up, and then we'll start purging and get it brazed in real quick. Now, I could have just went straight down. I guess I'm kind of being a little creative here. These yellow jackets really have nice rollers on them. I'm gonna put the cap on there for a second, run that up there. Then put a piece of tape around that to hold it, and you won't even know that it was cut. The way she holds there. Such a nice fit. There we go. Because this ain't your typical mini split, it has a liquid and a suction line. So your 5/16 will work just fine. We're going to yank both valve cores. That way we can blow through one side and out the other. And we'll purge it out really good with nitrogen. Then we'll start brazing on the inside. We'll have to wait till tomorrow to do the evacuation, just because I didn't have the claw foot, so I had to order that on Amazon. It appears to be a 32 millimeter, so that's what I'm going to be using. Nothing but nitrogen, baby. Okay, you can hear it. Obviously it came through one side and out the other. So this is going to keep the carbon from building up in here and keep everything looking good. There we go, just about got it. Pull it all in there nice and deep, that way it gets all the way into the back. And then we'll get this little goober off because I screwed up. There we go. Okay, we re-wet it. I don't mind it dripping, and we're gonna get a nice heat sink here, nice and wide. There we go. Let's go ahead and get another one. We're going a little berserk here, I'll be honest with you, but I don't want any possible problems with my system that I caused. So we'll pull that back a little bit, that way I want it to be able to get hot here. I don't want it to fight me completely. Yeah, that's freaking absorbing all that heat. That's how good it's doing. Okay, nothing hot. Nothing hot at all. Beautiful. So we'll let that cool down for a minute. You don't want to like trench it, make yourself a bad solder joint because of it. Like I said, that rag is really strong. All the way back into here. We've got it wrapped all the way around. So, Jim Dandy. All right, so this is the interface. This is what they use to monitor the refrigerant detector, the coil sensor, the return air temperature sensor, whether you're using a communicating or a 24-volt thermostat. This converts it all based off of dip switches and rotary dials here, and it's got multiple inputs and outputs. You can see we have 3 holes total here. That matches up right here, 1, 2, 3. And they even give us some screws for it. My feeling is this right here is what's going to set apart this type of system from all the other ones that claim to be variable, that claim to be communicating or super high efficiency, all that, because it actually has a way for it to communicate, which is pretty crazy that they've got it all integrated into the circuitry here. Like I've said earlier, this nut that they come with is way bigger than what the Hillmore can do. I tried it with an 1.25 inch opening wrench. It was the exact same size as a 32. And so we're gonna go ahead and do the small one with the digital, and then we'll use the click style, which I have a Tecton. The Tecton is 4% of accuracy. I know the Hillmore is 3%. The book is, for the 3/8 in the book, is 32 to 39 Newton meters, or 23.6 to 28.8 foot-pounds. The 3/4 inch is 67 to 101 Newton meters, or 49.4 to 75 foot-pounds. So we've got almost a 25 pound variance between 50 and 75. So this wrench at 3/8 is capable of doing all the way up to 80 pounds. There's Newton meters right there. Okay, that's 27, so we're good on the money on that one. Now, on a claw foot, what you have to do is do it at 90 degrees like that for it to be accurate. If you do it like that, it's not going to be accurate. Or obviously that way, it's going to be under. It's got to be 90. Now this comes in a 1/2 inch, and this is a 3/8, so I've got to get an adapter. That will not affect it. There you go. One click's good enough for me. That is really tight. So this is a, I don't know, Amazon special. Sunset's got it. You can get the ones, you can get the simple size that you need. But same thing with the Tecton. This is a decent little $50-some, $75 wrench. I use that for my oil filters. I don't use that Harbor Freight one anymore. This one here's pretty decent stuff. Tecton's in Michigan. They do a lifetime warranty. If you want the Hillmore, or like one that actually has the best range on it, is either going to be the Yellow Jacket or the CPS. The CPS Black Max is actually the one that had the most, I believe. But either one of those two, TruTech Tools, check them out. So we're going to be trying out our new Inverter vacuum pump here. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on. Either this pump's not doing the job, we have a leak, or something's wrong with my hoses, but this should been, boom, that fast. Or the check valve or whatever's acting up and fighting me. It never takes this long. Okay, let's try this over again. Instantly dropping down pretty quick now. We'll check it on the other side too, because I don't want to just blindly go. Kind of quiet when it ain't pulling out major air. 1500 there. Usually don't want to do this, but like I said, it's experimental time. I don't really care. I want to make sure my equipment's working right. So let's check this other side. We're at 1600 there, and then what we'll end up doing, valve off, make sure we don't jump up like we're starting to do. All right, we're at 52 microns. Break the ball valve there. It's coming up a touch. 69, 70 microns, 0.8, 0.7, 0.6, 101.3. Not bad. The Infocom pump, it has gas ballast on it. It's pretty reasonably priced. Has a removable cord there. All those things make it a decent vacuum pump from what I'm seeing. The first time I had a chance to use it, so it's not even had a chance to break in yet. All right, so I've got my own 454B there from the boys install that I did. Got the old field piece scale ready to go. Like I said, we're just going to charge this thing up. And then ain't gonna charge it up. We're just gonna throw a holding charge in there of like 4 measly ounces. That ain't much. Then I will come back and check it with the leak detector when I get home. That weight scale communicates right with the gauge here, which is really convenient. I've been really liking the field piece gauge set, the weight scale, pretty much everything they've got I've been pretty happy with. I mean, I'll probably never give up my blue vac. I kind of partial to that. Okay, I got our adapter because, you know, got to make it foolproof for those who don't have a clue what they're doing, because you might throw the wrong refrigerant in there or something. I think it's just plumb silly. We've been working with R290, which is pure propane, and our anisobutane, and it's like we didn't need anybody to put reverse threads on anything. And then when you're countering it with an adapter, what's the point? It's a waste of time, another excuse to drive up problems. So 30-foot line set, subtract 25 foot from that, that's 5 feet. I used off about half a foot, so you got about 4.5 foot. 4.5 times 0.7 is 3.15. It's that's assuming that they got everything perfect at the factory. So we're gonna go ahead and bleed that all the way up to the gauge down here. Okay, we know we got pure refrigerant. That right there was 1.83 ounces that was wasted. We'll close that. We'll open this. There we go. Okay, there we go. Good enough. So we'll go ahead and valve off, put the Schrader cores in it, and we will be good till tomorrow, where we will finish things up, hopefully. I'm on call, so who knows what will happen. Originally, I was supposed to go start up some exhaust hoods, so that supposedly isn't happening now, but you just don't know. Today was a very nice day to get things done, so that's why we did it today. This has been a multi-day journey just through the week because of so many things going on. Normally, I would recommend just nailing it out and getting it all done at one time, which generally is how it would be done. But unfortunately, that's not how it went. So now, just to reiterate, I'm not opening these valves yet. So if this leaks or I have leaks, I can remove the refrigerant, correct the leaks, and still not have to worry about my factory charge being screwed with. All right, currently we are working on the interface here, getting things squared away, which this here is kind of tedious. If you want to make it look nice, you can make it look nice. Everything kind of comes into their own spots. I added a little heat shrink here, went a little overboard, ran conduit, especially just for the controls only. Wires that are external here, they are actually wire tied to the outside of it. So, and then I ended up tucking some of my wires for the sensors back into the unit, wire tied them up here, made sure drip edges are in there so that nothing follows the wire down into the switch, even though it's most likely all sealed up. It's just smart common practice not to do that. Running some of our other wires here across the top, using some eyelets. Got the humidifier, which that's something else. The current communicating thermostat that I've got with this one does not do humidification. It does do dehumidification through different means of algorithms and slowing compressors, things like that. But that's where you start to run into a little bit of a difference
of the ability of the furnace versus the ability of the outdoor unit, because you got to remember the inside unit, as far as the coil, yes, they have a sensor mounted right up here on that, and then you have another sensor in the return air right up there in the top, which I've got that all sealed and have that attached at different spots just so that everything is tight and tidy coming all the way across. When you look at your controller here, these do not line up. Just because it says furnace top left-hand corner, it's actually bottom right-hand corner. These rotary switches, they're here. The switches here don't show up there. It's just they're all over the place. So that can be a little confusing. Once you've done it once or twice, it won't be bad. I'm actually, like I said, doing some strain reliefs here for my wires to make sure they don't get ripped out of the circuit board. You also have rotary dials here, which you can have multiple different options of what you can lock things out, whether you want it to do it or not. So they've got fairly good instructions. It can do communication, thermostat, you name it. You just got to choose what it is it's doing, because unlike a lot of the communicating things out there like the Bosch, this communication board here actually allows you to know what's going on the inside, whereas the Bosch doesn't have a clue. It caused all kinds of dehumidification issues in the summer with my in-laws. I'll never install a Bosch again. It's nice to see that they came out with this device here. It's very unique, and technically the real reason for this was for the actual refrigerant detector, which you can see here they have capability of doing 2 detectors right here on the right and here on the left. You only need to do 1. That's also chosen in the selections up here at the top, and depending on how nice of a job you want to do, I come in and actually do a little bit of a twist and a turn, boom, and then we'll cut it off here at the top. And then, you know, it's just going to make it look a little bit nicer. Does it need to be like that? No. So there's that there. There's not a lot of extra room in here for the wiring, so you need to make it kind of like what I'm doing here, unless you just don't mind having your wires just come in all over the side of the board. So we turned on the power to the compressor section just to let it warm up the windings and all that happy stuff. Out here, all we should have to hook up is S1 and S2. We're gonna let that board on the inside do all the communications between the two of them. All we gotta do, like I said, is hook it over here on the side. If you're gonna use a regular thermostat, they do have terminals for that. Theoretically, that should be all we have to do in here. All right, so we've taped off the extra wires from the furnace. The pink wire is my humidifier. Like I said, the digital thermostat, the one from ACIQ that communicates with everything, does not have humidity. It has dehumidification through its algorithms, but like I said, no humidity. Unfortunately, that's going to be a deal breaker for me. I really don't want an old-fashioned analog. I want to be able to have my window protect. That's a huge issue for me, but for others it may not be. I went ahead and wired all these together because we're only using 2 wires down here. This will get cleaned up once I switch it to my ecobee thermostat. But like I said, I want to give this a fair shot and a shake with their controller to see if there's really any real benefits to going with the communicating thermostat, just because you've got the controller down here. This actually is reading the digital information from the outside. So if you have a problem, they actually have a key of all the different issues it could have. And all these malfunctions are right here and tells you exactly what's going on. This didn't require a lot of training at all. As a matter of fact, I got none. And I figured it out pretty much all by myself, no problem at all. If not, they do have helpline like we've seen at the ACIQ headquarters there, and they can walk you through any problems that you might be having and assist you with any parts that you might need. I really like the way this goes together. This is so simple and easy. That's the reason why I didn't put my flue pipes here in the way. Not to mention I've seen carriers leak down on their gas valve and ruin them, especially if you have a variable gas valve unit. Next test will be, is it a regular size 3/16 and whatever? It appears it is. Now the only other thing we got to do is put the thermostat on. Okay, this is the ACIQ Smart Thermostat TL04-1. Got a protective cover on there. Looks just like an ecobee. Comes with the sub base, which it has the HB and HA, which are your communications if you're going to do that. And then the built-in level. This thermostat is capable of doing 24 volts or communication both. I definitely strongly recommend upgrading to this at a minimum. unless humidity is important to you, and then you may not want it. Take the Ecobee loose here. So there's the Ecobee on the left, there's the ACIQ on the right. Now this is their absolute best one from Ecobee. This one here is able to do alarm systems and all that craziness, speaker in it, you name it, alarm, all that notification stuff. So we're gonna get this mounted up there. Like I said, I kind of left this thing loose on the wall because I don't know if I'm gonna keep it. Get started. Oh wow, this one makes noises. English, United States, time zone. Download the app, why not? Okay, I think this is it here, ACIQ Home. Of course, it's got 3 stars, only has 8 reviews. That ain't really good. Okay, just activated it through the email. Activation successful. The check shows okay. Okay, I restarted it. It appears to be working. Okay, I'm going in here and telling my heat I want it at 70. Let's see if we can put it in heat mode for actual heat pump.
All right, finally got it figured out how to set the settings. She's cranking away. Excellent temperature rise, but unfortunately, it's not stepping it up to the next fan speed up, which is why it's so good. So currently, the heat pump is pulling 3.89 kilowatts, and that's off my EcoFlow app. So this thing will keep track of it really tight. It was at 4,000 earlier, which is nearly double what my normal heat pump was pulling. Well, hopefully this thing really cranks out the heat, but we know that the pressures look good. I'm gonna probably throw it into cooling mode, make sure there's no problems there, and then we'll do the rest of the testing in daylight. Here we are running 47 degrees saturated, 83, and we are cold outside. 43 degrees out here, so 43 degrees, and it's running the cooling mode, and it's pumping out heat out here. So we'll shut that back down. Also got my line set all done in there with thumb gum. That's at least what we call it. And I got to finish this part up. But like I said, it's working tonight. Now I can at least dump my refrigerant back into the system. I've already bled the hoses both directions. And that way I lose absolutely nothing other than just a touch of vapor. All right, so now that we're finished with the installation and we've gone through all the different parts of what we did to get everything installed, I had to cut a lot of things to speed the video up, and even then the total video time's at 38 minutes, not counting the talking before and the talking after. So I'm gonna be straight with you. ACIQ asked me to be natural, speak normal, tell the truth, things I like, don't like. They really didn't ask me to do anything in particular. Here's my take on what is ACIQ. Now this isn't from them, and maybe they have a different philosophy, but here's the way I take it. They've sourced some of the best equipment available, and they've picked, brands like ICP for the gas furnaces. They've used Medea for the heat pump inverter systems. Then they made relationships with those manufacturers. So they have direct relationships with them, so when they have a problem with a piece of equipment, which everything does, they're able to get a hold of it. What they're doing is providing local in-house support here in the United States. They have warehouses located all over, which you've seen in the first video telling you all the different states that they're in. What that means for you is they can get it to you quickly. The whole point of them advertising is to let dealers out there know that, hey, if you're looking for an alternative to the big boys that don't always treat you right because they get the big sales numbers and they just don't really appreciate you, well, there's a company like ACIQ that does appreciate you, and they're able to brand this with your name if you want. You don't have to have ACIQ on it. So you can actually put your own name on it, back it with your warranty, what you want to do. So those are some options that you've got. Check out the website, ACIQ.com. Get a hold of them. They can get you all the information on setting up a dealership. For me, this is an ICP furnace. That is who makes Carrier, and several other different brands, Bryant, you name it. So this is the familiar design that I'm working on daily because that's what the company I work for actually sells, is Carrier. The heat pump, believe it or not, Medea actually has made equipment for Lennox. They've made it for Carrier. They've made it for just about everybody out there. Check out Rinnai and LG and see if their water heater looks just about the same. I noticed, and I pointed it out in the install video, everything looks really well built. And if this thing turns out to be a turd, which I don't think it's going to be because their failure rate is down in like less than I think a 0.003%, something like that. It's really super low, but they have a very low failure rate. What I liked was the fact that it actually is doing the communication with 2 wires. So if you don't have enough wires to run, say you've got a real hard installation, you can get away with 2 wires. The communicating thermostat, that's able to communicate and truly drive up and down the variable compressor, which I noticed it can take it all the way down to like 1,000 watts, all the way up to 4,000 watts. Now my previous system was a 2.5 ton. This one here is 3 tons. I went a half a ton one bigger because it could ramp up and ramp down. And so I wanted that for when it got really cold out. What I noticed on the run times and stuff, it runs a lot, which that's typically how most variable speed systems are. They kind of design them to not shut off. It is using a little more electricity than my other one did, but what it's doing is making it more comfortable. I guess it's just like anything in life. If you want something nice, you're gonna have to pay for it. So if you want to be super comfortable, it's gonna cost a little bit more. Now we're not talking a lot. We're just talking my cheap butt looking at the numbers, and we've been in a real weird transition through March going into April here. The weather has been extremely cold, then it's been hot, so I can't even get you to real close numbers. But like I showed you on the water heater, it's saving me a ton. So anything that I end up saving in the water heater is going to be offset by the heat pump, but it creates a more stable environment as far as heating is concerned. And the noise level out of this thing, it doesn't make noise. The outside unit, it just, like this just came on and the doors are off. And it's going into cooling 1. Now that's one thing that I noticed on the cooling section. It has 2 stages, but generally this heat pump, even though it knows what the temperature is of the evaporator and knows that it's pretty hot, I was getting a 54-degree temperature rise when I was running one of the normal settings for this CFMs for the tonnage. I ended up taking a little bit faster because I was a little worried about that. So when we got back down cold again, say we're in the 20-some degree range, I was still getting 45 to 40 degree temperature rise. Then I think the worst it did was 35 degree temperature rise in the like 15 to 20 degree range. Normally, most heat pumps aren't even running there, but the little box on the side that you see me hook up, that right there is the game changer. It allows everything to communicate back and forth with no real fancy controls. You can run this thermostat with the 2-stage capability with regular R, C, Y, G, and so on, or you can run the 2-wire communication. This allows you to get the quality of ICP and still get an excellent warranty. Same thing with the heat pump system. Why have somebody else's name on it and pay a double markup? Buy it straight from the company that sells the most of it. You're actually getting a longer warranty. So all those things combined together, that's the reason why I like it. And if I was to go out on my own, this would definitely be the strong contender that I would end up going with, just because I have the backing behind it. They give me good equipment to choose from, and they're locally close to my home. And even if they're not, you're able to get delivery usually within a couple days to anywhere in the United States. And they have free shipping. So check them out. It's ACIQ.com. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch the video. And until next time, we'll catch you on the next one.